bold prediction season, the things that you believe that you have agreed to let me put on the air tonight in hopes of December glory. Let's take a look at the first one. This comes to us from our buddy John, JD for short, right here in Tennessee in Tazewell. Ole Miss and Florida in the SEC championship game. I'm going to make that a 9.5 on the boldness scale. These are the number 5 and number 6 teams in the odds to win the SEC right now at FanDuel. They do play each other in the regular season. What are we counting on here? Well, we're counting on Florida to overcome what is, in our estimation, the toughest schedule in the country. And we're also counting on Austin Simmons and Ole Miss's defense to shine. That's just a lot to count on. So, I mean, they're up there. Like, it wouldn't be a stunner if either or made the SEC title game, but for both of them to make it over the likes of Texas or LSU or Alabama or Georgia, that's a little bit tougher for me to see. That's a 9.5. Next up, this one I wrestled with a little while today. Carson from Houston, Texas. He said Jeremiah Smith breaks the all-time receiving yards record of over 2,000 yards due to the expanded playoff adding more games. Okay, so Trevor Inslee at Nevada a while back, I think late 90s, he set the record. The record is 2,060 receiving yards in one season. I think he did it in 12 games. I think. Now, what we're saying here is, okay, but Jeremiah Smith's probably going to play more than 12 games, so that, in part, is why he's going to break the all-time record. I only made this a 9 on the boldness scale. Like, you're telling me a guy's going to break a record that stood since the turn of the millennium, and it's only a 9. That should tell you how good he is. Devontae Smith won the Heisman in 2020. He played 13 games. He had a little over 1,800 receiving yards. Jeremiah Smith, he averaged 142.8 yards per game last year. That pace over 16 games comfortably gets him the record. In fact, he doesn't even need to be close to 140 per game for him to get the record. It's just, does he sustain that over an entire year? Does he stay healthy? And does Julian Sayin have the kind of game that it takes to get him the ball like that? I certainly can count on Ohio State to have the supporting cast where they're not trying to force him the ball enough. I think if Brian Hartline sort of in the back of his mind decides this is one of my goals, I want to get that kid the Heisman, I want to get that kid records, even in the games they know are going to be blowouts, that's just when you feed him the ball 10 times in the first half. So he gets his, as you know he's going to be on the bench in the second half. I'm going to put a 9 on that one. Hey, quick timeout. Check and see if you're subscribed to the channel. If you're not, make sure you do. It's free. It doesn't obligate you or sign you up for anything. It just helps us keep the channel free. All right, back to the show. The next one would be sad. Alan from Melbourne, Florida said, sadly, there you go, his words, not mine, Mike Norvell gets fired before the end of the season. That is a 9.5 to me. Is it a disaster season? Because if it is, there's really no limit at that point. It would be 2 of them in a row. Is it just an up and down season, though? If it's an up and down season, I don't think he's going to get fired before the season's over. He may not be fired at all. But if he was fired, it wouldn't be before the season's over. Bradley, if you've got Florida State's schedule, show me for a second, because I just want you to look at this. So, 1-8-15. Their bye week is after the Stanford game. So if they're going to fire him, my point is, if they don't do it after the Stanford game, there's not another bye week the rest of the way, and there's really no FCS game. Like, there's no convenient place to do it. They go Wake Forest at home, at Clemson, Va-Tech, at NC State, at Florida. Their schedule's backloaded. So the biggest risk games are on the back end. Like, they should win some games to start off the season, at least not be terrible. And then if they want to fire him, do you fire him like the week you're about to go on the road in conference play? You fire him the week you're about to go to Gainesville? I just don't, even if they're going to do it, I don't know if that's going to happen during the season. And I know that's the new trend, to do it and go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and let's get the search started. And maybe they will. Maybe it'll be a moot point and Florida State wins 9 games, but I make that a 9.5. And lastly, South Carolina. Okay, so This was from Lexington, South Carolina. South Carolina has a top 10 offense, a top 15 defense, and makes the playoff. And there was some Lenora Seller stuff too. Let's just go with that. That's a 9.75. South Carolina was 16th in defense last year and lost a bunch. So we're asking them to improve despite all the draft departures. They had the 45th offense last year. And I don't know who in the world they're going to count on for depth at wide receiver. The tailback situation is still a little weird because of the eligibility thing, and they just have to significantly improve offensively. Yeah, I don't think this is going to happen. They can make the playoff without this happening. However, you would think if this does happen, they're a lock to make the playoff, right? No, Ole Miss did this last year. Do you know that? Ole Miss was top 15 in defense, top 10 offense. They didn't even make the playoff. Tennessee was the other one. So the defense just lost a lot. And on the offensive side, the wide receiver position, the running back position, you just count on Lenora Sellers becoming that much better this year. If any of that doesn't happen, you got no shot at a top 15 offense. So I'm going to make that a 9.75 on the boldness scale. Good stuff.